Welcome back, guys and girls. This is Dana from Masterland Investing. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a great week. I know I've been cranking this week, a lot of things happening. This lesson is going to be about a better use of your land if you're buying larger parcels. It pertains to commercial as well. I've done it quite a few times with commercial property. And what it is I'm looking into some 10-acre parcels right now. And my intention is to buy the 10s. Ideally, probably what I'm going to do so I don't tie up a lot of money is do probably an assignment, a contract on some of these at first until I can get enough to get one myself. But what I'm talking about today is actually these 10s you can divide in half. I can pick up 10s for around 100, I think, 80 to 100. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead once I get one, and I've got to do a little more homework, but I'm pretty sure I can divide it in half. And then in turn sell the 5 and keep the 5. Pretty much get all your money back. Because funny enough, some communities, 5 acres are similarly priced to 10, strangely enough. It's not always correlated that the 5s per acre and then 10 is that. So if it's 10 an acre, 5 would be 50, 10's 100. It's not always the case, strangely enough. Some areas it is, some areas it isn't. But think about that, guys. If you're targeting as a land investor and you're buying larger parcels, check with the county. Check with the community you're in. Find out what you can and can't do with that property. A lot of times I'll do my homework, due diligence before I do and commit to the property and purchase it. I'll have the purchase agreement already signed. I know I'm going to buy it sometimes, but then I'll get a little motivated since I've got the purchase agreement now that I didn't realize I would get one of these so quick. I'll call the county and cross-reference and dot my I's and cross my T's and make sure that I can, if I can divide it. As soon as I hear that, I'm already going to market half of that. I'll get a survey company out there for a few $100, get the damn markers out, and I'll market that other 5 and try to recoup, if not everything, all my money back on the other 5. I've done it with commercial properties. I'm going to create a course probably a few months from now. It's going to be more extensive. It's going to talk about more speculative long-term investment as well as commercial investments. But I've done it a few times with commercial property where I bought property. I bought one a few years back. I bought a 3-acre parcel and it was light commercial. I think it was zoned retail. I don't remember that particular how it was referenced as far as an acronym. But I bought it, divided into 3 parcels, 3 1-acre parcels, and then I turned around. I think I sold 2 properties, and then I ended up owning the 3rd property for free. I've done it a few times. It works out well. But you can't buy a property, not do your due diligence, and assume, well, I have a 10-acre property on this road, I can cut this into 10 1-acre properties. You can't do it. Not always the case. Depends on the community, how it's zoned. It's very important as an investor to make sure you check your zoning in that particular area. I mean, some of these smart developers will buy these bigger parcels. I had a friend of mine years back, he borrowed $1 million from his grandfather. He found an area in Florida. I want to say it was 20 acres. I think it might have been more, don't get me wrong, but I think it was 200 platted lots. Now at the time when he bought it, he knew there was opportunity because they were already recorded as platted lots. Just little dirt roads in there, nobody had property on there. He made millions by buying that property. It was already cut up in little pie pieces. And when the market turned around and the greed started setting in, everybody wanted to be an investor, everybody wanted to buy, he made a small fortune. Matter of fact, he started selling these lots, I think what he told me, don't get me wrong, 5 or 10 grand a piece that weren't worth much at the time. And before you know it, he was actually going back to friends and family that he sold these lots to and offering to rebuy them back because the prices were going through the roof. So look at land investing sometimes when you're doing bigger parcels, because I know a lot of you guys, depends on your farm area, you might be buying tracts of farmland, 10, 20, 30 acres. Do some homework, do your due diligence, get the right numbers, call the community. Think about these properties like a piece of pie. How many slices of this pie do I need to cut off until I'll own the rest of the pie? It's a great philosophy when you're doing larger parcels. I typically do smaller stuff. I've done a lot of 5s. I've moved a ton of 5s. I've done some 10s. I bought a couple 20s, some 3 and 4s. Typically they're 1 acre or less. A lot of times they're quarter acres. So you typically can't cut a quarter acre in half because the way it's zoned. But once you find out the zoning and you're dealing with 1s, 5s, 10s, 20s, think about that land like a pie. Sometimes you want to do it before you sign a purchase agreement because the value's in the pie, not in the piece. So if you know, for instance, you could get a parcel that's a 10 acre somewhere for 10 grand, and then you find out that some of the 5s, so say you buy a parcel for 10, it's worth 35 grand or 30 grand, for instance, and you're going to solicit try to buy them at 10, and you find out through the county that the 5s are going for 20 something, do the math. So if they say you can approve, it's going to cost you this much money, crunch your numbers, see what the survey guys get there, call around, get some estimates on surveys, because it's pretty competitive like anything. You need to get markers out there, you need to know exactly what those 2 5s will look like, get some pictures, and then market the 5, and you might end up with your 5 for a couple of grand or maybe nothing. So think about that, guys. Think about larger parcels as a pie, and how many pieces can I get out of that pie? And the same thing as a future developer, as you may grow into this business, decide down the road when you stack up some cash, you want to be a developer. Start looking for bigger parcels. Check with the county. Check with the future planning and zoning. Look at their master plan. See what's going to happen in that community. Is it on a main road? How many roads get into the property? And then start looking at the numbers, and you can hire an engineer group, and you get these things cut up sometimes depending on where the market's going, and it's all speculative. So if you're in the right position, you know the 4th phase of real estate cycle, listen to me, guys and girls, when I tell you this, there's lots of money to be made when you take a piece of property and cut it in pieces, because as the scuttlebutt increases and the economy gets stronger and consumer confidence gets stronger, a lot of times in these communities you get a lot more buyers than you would have a year earlier, and if you cut that pie in a bunch of pieces, you can recoup your money pretty quick, and oftentimes I've ended up with a larger parcel to myself because I cut the other pieces off and sold them. So think about that, guys. That's the video for today. It's just another one. I come up with these things that I've done in the past, and I want these videos, I don't want them to be full of fluff. I want them to be to the point, full of good content, solid content, stuff that you guys can start stacking in your box so you don't go out of the gate with your course or anybody else's course or a few tools in your box and go, shit, all I know is this. I want you to know a variety of things, and then pick the thing you want to do and get really good at it. And then if the market changes, like I always say, you can fluctuate and you can diversify and get into other things, but the more tools you have, the more creative you are, the more opportunity you're going to find. But the name of the game is tools aren't the answer. Knowledge is not just the answer. You need to apply these tools. Get out there. Ask questions, start calling, start networking, build that team. Okay, guys and girls, I'm telling you when I tell you, I want all you guys to do wonderful at this, whether it's 1 property a month, 1 property a year. You might be looking to buy 1 property and you're not wanting to be an investor, you don't want to do it part-time or full-time, but if you listen to these videos, listen to my podcast, and even if you purchase my course, that course is cheap enough that it'll save you so much money when you decide to buy that farm or that bigger parcel or that 1/4 acre somewhere. Because these tools in your box will give you the ability to negotiate, establish the value deal, know the do's and don'ts, put a team together, and get the right price for the property that you want at a major discount. So take notes, guys. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Go out there, have an awesome week. I hope this stuff is motivating you guys if you're serious about land investing or even just purchasing a piece of property down the road. Continue to listen. I'll constantly continue to try to put out good stuff for you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you like it, please hit the like button. If you know anybody else who might be interested, you want to turn one of your children on, or brother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, please share this information with them, guys. Tell them about the videos. Once again, the course is coming. It's real close. I have no control of it. I've delegated the stuff that I don't do well. It's the IT stuff, the building, the platforms, plugging everything in. We're real close, guys, but we're not there yet, so be patient with me. You guys have a great week. Thanks again for tuning in. Go out there, inspire somebody if you can. Be generous, don't be greedy. Thanks again. Bye-bye.